Here we are with Mark Koch of the RevLimiter. He's down in Texas right now. I'm up in Tennessee. It is February 11th. It is 10:10 p.m. Eastern Time. So, Mark, how's it going?
Well, just another wonderful day in Texas.
What's the weather like right now in Texas?
It's actually about mid-30s, low 40s, drizzly. So it's like perfect. It's perfect RevLimiter weather.
Right. We've been dealing with just nonstop rain this entire winter and flooding this week. So the kids have not been to school this week.
Wow. I did see some flooding, but I didn't know if that affected y'all. So that's crazy.
Yeah. About a mile from my house is flooding.
Wow.
So this past weekend, you were out at King of Motos in California. Tell us a little bit about it.
Absolutely. So King of the Motos, as you know, this year we have AMA West Extreme Championship. That's West Coast rounds. And then, of course, American Hard Enduro started the East Coast rounds. And so now we kind of have an East and a West. Right. So Justin Leon Webler, which I know I butcher his name all the time, so I apologize, Justin. But he was a first-time promoter, and he'd been out there. He lives out in Johnson Valley area, so he had been out there with Dave Cole and Jimmy Lewis when they started it, and worked with them. So he really wanted to bring it back because it went away, and so he jumped in and did the leg work and put on a great opening round for the West Extreme Championship, the AMA Sherco West Extreme Championship.
Right. It looks dusty out there. Was that accurate?
So when we pulled in, by the time we got off the highway and to the pits, I needed to change the air filter on my bike. It was really dusty, very dusty. And, everybody ascends on Johnson Valley for that week. Over 60,000 people,
wow.
Side by sides, rock crawlers, Jeeps, dirt bikes, anything that you can think of just is out there for just one big festivity. So there was a lot of traffic.
So does it kind of live up to its billing that it's like the Burning Man of off-road? I mean, too.
Yeah, it was. If you could imagine it, it was out there. If you could think, how would they lift a Corvette and make it four-wheel drive? There was one out there. If they had a vintage Porsche out there that had some crazy mud tires or rock crawling stuff, it was out there. If it was UTV that was just built to the max to go out and race, it was out there.
Okay, so Cody Webb obviously bouncing back pretty quick from the surgery. It looked like him and Manny had one heck of a battle going. Obviously, I think Manny made a little mistake, missed a section kind of like 2 years ago. So Cody got the win. But was Tristan kind of in the game with those guys, or was he a step behind?
Yeah, so, everything's different with King of the Motos because it's a GPS race. So there's not a whole lot of GPS races going on. So people kind of think oh man, this is really weird or this is really new, and they don't have the experience. But you guys out on the East Coast with the SEER, the Southeast Extreme Riders Association have been putting on GPS races for a while. So, I think y'all would have done really well with the GPS stuff, but there was a lot of people out there that was unfamiliar with the GPSs and had them, just like myself. I've used GPS twice, just playing around, working on track. So, right. When we go out there, a lot of people was very new to it. And so with Cody being, the first race back from his injury, but also with, new on Sherco, everybody was really kind of wondering how that was going to play out. And it was really good.
Kid.
What's that?
Not to mention he just had a kid.
True. Yeah. So he probably has a few sleepless nights.
Right.
But yeah, it was great because they were all really close at first. Obviously Tristan was was a little further back by the time they got to the gold loop, because what they did was they had 3 loops. They had a bronze, a silver, and then the gold. And so Tristan had kind of fallen back a little bit off the pace, but you got to give it to him, man. Tristan is making waves, and he's not giving up. He's a beast. So I see him really topping the podium probably maybe by the end of the year on one of these rounds. So I'm looking forward to seeing that.
Well, really, I guess the first time I really took note of him in Hard Enduro was last year at Enduro Fest. And it's like, who's this smaller rider? I mean, he's not 6'5" like, Cody Webb and guys, but, I guess, is he factory KTM now?
Well, he was under the RPM KTM rig, and I know off of just his social media this week, he's been out at the KTM factory house, and I think they were doing some testing and doing some things. So,
okay,
nothing. I haven't seen anything official, but
okay,
it's got to be coming. I mean, obviously with Cody leaving, they're bringing Manny over to kind of, carry the KTM banner, and now all of a sudden, Tristan is right there in the mix. So I see him kind of getting that ride lined out right now.
So does it look like Manuel Lettenbeckler, is he going to be at all the West rounds? Is that the plan?
From the conversations that I had with him, that was kind of the plan, was he was going to kind of be over to kind of ride for KTM for all the West rounds. And so we're just kind of looking. He's not staying over here, to my understanding. He's flying back and forth is what I was told, but I know he's still in California today.
Okay.
So,
okay. Well, anything else we need to talk about with King of Motos? I mean, I guess the results are, I'm looking at them right now on another computer screen. It looks like Rodrigo Lopez was the top amateur. A bunch of Sherkos in the top, like 15. Guys that we know, like Grayson Gonzalez and Quinn Winsel and Mitch Carville, they're all right there. And then other guys like Colton Haker running 4th. David Camo, I'm not real familiar with him.
He's a West Coast guy. He helps out running the Hare and Hound stuff, I believe.
Okay.
He's a veteran racer. Yeah, he's really awesome and solid. So overall, the King of the Motos was great. The riders, they had nothing but great things to say. They were really pumped and excited. They were excited to be back. The promoters, from what I understand, was very happy. Dave Cole, they were very happy with the attendance. There's a little over, I think, 120 riders. So it was a really good start to the AMA Sherco West Extreme Championship, and it was great to have the King of the Motos back. That was actually our first time out there, and like I said, it was like nothing I had ever kind of really ridden around at. So it was pretty cool.
Okay, so March 28th, 29th, coming up in Bridgeport, Texas, RevLimiter, new venue. I guess you were meeting with the officials yesterday from the town of Bridgeport. Anything to report about that?
Yeah, actually, we had another meeting today.
Okay.
So kind of meeting with the city of Bridgeport. Kind of like last year, we had Torn Racing. Curtis, he does a great job with his series. And they race the cross-country dirt bikes, and then they have UTVs. That was on the other side of the property last year with us, running the same weekend, but kind of gives the guys something else to see and watch. But the biggest thing that I wanted going into that was to really get some other guys that don't know what hard enduro is to actually come out and see. Well, they don't know who Manny Lettenbeckler is or Cody Webb, so we really wanted to kind of get that crossover. So I felt like it was a pretty good success last year. We didn't have any issues. And so it was good. So this year, same thing. Our property is even larger this year.
Nice.
And so we have them, the property's kind of split up on 2 levels. On the lower level, we have them racing, but also there's another piece of the lower level. And so we actually have rally car racing going on the same weekend.
Oh, wow.
So as you pull into the property, you'll go through the gate, you'll sign in, do all your waivers. You're going to come kind of to the first spot, and it's going to have rally car racing. So if you want to tow out your rally car, your Subaru or something, bring it on out. So we have that. Then we have the Torn Racing. The road goes up around to the top of the property. We're working on where we're going to put our scoring trailers, because we really like kind of having Torn and ours relatively close, so that way, because we help each other. And so we kind of make sure that if something's going on, we can communicate. But we'll all be camping on the lower half. As we go up to the top, that's where the main RevLimiter track is going to be, up in the top. It's an OHV park. We also have Jeep on board, and they have created the Texas 4 Fest. And since it's an OHV park, we get great support with the Jeep guys and things like that. So we've laid out our RevLimiter course, and then we've laid out our spectator trails for the Jeeps as well. So they can go around, still do some rock crawling, but get the key points. And our hope is that if you look at statistics, you probably got like 76 or 74 people that own, 74% of the people that own Jeeps has raced dirt bikes, has a dirt bike in the garage. There's some kind of crossover.
Okay, nice.
So really, we're kind of looking at, hey, do those Jeep guys, do they stop riding? Do they still have a bike in the garage? They come out, they tootle around on their Jeeps, and then they see us do stuff, and then they're like, oh, man, my 86 YZ 125, I got to break it out. I know it still has the original air filter, but hey, come on. Yeah. So we see a big crossover, and so when we do that, I think it kind of brings the whole festival atmosphere, and so that's kind of what we're shooting for.
Okay, I like it.
And when we met with the city today, so for the RevLimiter, we're actually going to go into town for our hot lap, our prologue. So we're actually going to have a prologue in town on the streets. With the city, they have a Barks, Bikes, and Brew festival going on that Saturday. So downtown from 8 o'clock in the morning until 3, they're going to have bounce houses, all the restaurants and everything's going to be open. There's going to have dog shows, dog costume contests. They're going to have all kinds of crazy stuff going on. And then they have I think a 10-mile bicycle loop, a 20-mile bicycle loop, all the way up to 60-mile bicycle loop.
Okay, so we're talking like pedal bicycles.
Pedal bicycle, yes. So in the town, they're going to be having that Saturday morning while we're all out on the park racing. Okay. Then when they finish up, we're all coming into town to do our prologue.
So hopefully they'll still be there drinking beer, spectating.
Exactly. That was our hope, is we just kind of draw all those people to really get, if we have, an extra 300 to 500 spectators that don't even know what hard enduro is, but's out there, hashtagging it and sharing up videos, man, that's the best exposure ever. So that was kind of our idea, is working with the city to kind of have that. So the other thing is, we got people that come from all over. Your wife, y'all are coming out. So, man, if they get tired and don't want to sit there and watch dirt bikes, man, they can go to town and go shopping, because literally the OHV park that we're racing on is in the city limits. So, so we really think that this is going to kind of be a complete package for everybody.
Awesome. Can you tell us a little bit about the format of, like, when are the amateurs racing, the pros, the prologue? How does it all fit together?
So it's pretty much, we're going to run almost the same format as we typically do. So our first race on Saturday is going to be at 8:30, starts at 8:30. That's going to be everybody except the pros. So A classes all the way through, the women's. We're going to race just like normal, 2 hours, 2 laps. That should wrap up. Everybody should be off the course by noon. Once that's over, we'll start getting everybody posted up, get all the results posted up. We'll take the top 100 into the prologue, and we'll add in the pros. So between 12, we'll post everything up. About 3 o'clock to 3:30 is when we're going to transit into town. we're still working on that. We're working with the county so we can see if we can parade. So everybody that's qualified in the pros can actually ride into town with a police escort. So we're still kind of working out the details with that. We're going to start at 4:00 for our prologue. The first 15 minutes of that, we're going to have the Torn Racing, the cross country guys. They're going to come out and we're going to have their Stasic bike race on our prologue course. So the little kids are going to kick off our prologue. We thought that would be really cool.
Nice.
The kids are super excited. They just keep asking, we get to race in town? We're like, yeah, man, it's going to be so awesome. So they're really pumped about that. So we're going to kick off at 4:00, let those kids race, and then we're going to start our prologue. Basically, our prologue, and like I said, there's an asterisk because we're working through the details, but what we're looking at is we kind of have everything somewhat laid out for our course, and we have basically, it's set to where we're going to do heats, basically 20 riders to a heat, 5 to a row. So we'll have 4 rows for one heat. They're going to take off and they're going to race either 10 to 12 minutes. We're still kind of working those details out. And then they'll have 5 minutes once we throw the checkered flag to complete that little prologue loop. We'll pull them off, and then the next heat will be ready to go. All of it is for times. So we take the top 75 timed into Sunday.
Okay. So how long is a lap around this prologue?
Well, we're still kind of building the obstacles. Of course, we're always going to have the max cooler matrix that we've had at the RevLimiter every year. We'll have, the nice little tire pit. We're building a fire pit section. We'll be bringing in some boulders, so we'll have a nice rock section. We have the max cooler, or the RNS over under bridge that was at the Red Bull Override. So we're going to have that in play. We have a few balance beam sections that we're working on. And then we got obviously our corner matrix, our corner wagon wheel. We're working on something special with Jeep. So that's kind of in the works. So we're constantly looking at ideas and trying to build more obstacles for it. Obviously, we'll have a couple of tire obstacles. We got some big equipment style tractor tires and things like that we'll have in there. So we're still kind of working that out to kind of put everything together. What the city's agreed to is they're going to close down the streets basically a week ahead of time, so we can go start building all the stuff. And a lot of the stuff we've already pre-built. So we'll take it apart, and then we'll move it down to the city.
Okay. Wow. It's making me nervous just thinking about it. Actually, I'm not a fan of man-made stuff, but hey, I guess I need to get used to it.
Well, it's going to be basically, a lot of the enduro cross stuff, kind of like we've had at the RevLimiter and stuff before. So it's not going to be, we're not going all crazy. We're not going Romaniacs crazy yet.
Right. Okay, so getting back to the actual property where the main event and the racing is going to happen, not just the prologue. How does it compare to Rocky Ridge?
So it's a larger piece of property, and Rocky Ridge has some really flat rocks. So what we had to do is we really had to look at it. Rocky Ridge had some great pros. Everything was right there, right close to where we're camping and everything. I mean, you could walk right there. This property is a little more spread out, but we felt like it outweighed, being spread out a little bit outweighed that by us getting to go to town. We're like, if we can do a prologue in town, okay, we can walk an extra 100 yards to go see another obstacle or something. And like I said, we always encourage everybody, bring your mountain bikes, bring your pit vehicles and things like that, so you can get around, because we will have good spectator roads to kind of get around and do all of that. So the property overall is different. It's an old quarry. It's a OHV park. So the Jeeps have gone up and down a lot of the rocks and dug stuff out. So we have some nice ledges and some big rocks. And The rocks at Rocky Ridge are more flat, little short flat rocks. These are bigger bouldery top rocks.
Okay.
So it'll definitely be different.
Okay. Well, that sounds good. Any commitments from any of the big pros? I mean, I know Cody Webb and Colton Haker and Manny Beckler. Anybody else?
You know, we're going to have our pretty much our same rock star crew that always shows up from the U.S. You know, we got, the whole Force One team, and that'll be the first time, that Nick Farringer will be, with the other guys since he's more of the East Coast guy. So super excited to have all of them out. Manny, obviously Tristan Hart, and then, all of our regular guys like Max Gersten. I know he'll be out there. Out west, they had Ron Como the third, so it'll be nice to see him come out as well. Hopefully, I haven't talked to Beta to see if he's coming out, but we should have a pretty good turnout. And then we always have a good solid turnout from the Canadians. They always come down, so that's pretty awesome.
What have you heard anything from like Wade Young and Mario Roman? Yeah,
so Wade, currently Wade isn't coming over since Sherco has Cody. They didn't really feel that they wanted to spend the expense or something, I guess. Mario, we're kind of still in talks with him. Last year he came over and did some classes. Right. So we've kind of gone back and forth to see if he wanted to do some classes and things before or after to kind of help cover his costs. That's one of the things that I pride myself on. Some races actually pay riders to come and show up, and we don't do that. So, we don't mind kind of giving them some insights of where they can go host classes and kind of tell people about them and help out with that. Even get some local sponsors on to help cover, meals and things like that. But, we really pride ourselves on not paying pro riders to come race because we have a pro purse. So currently we're still kind of working through with Mario on that. But other than that, I know Taddy, he won't be coming over, obviously, because, we got Manny. Kind of same thing with Johnny Walker. Graham, he's on the Jarvis signature things. If we paid him, he would come over. But like I said, we're, I would rather pass that on to the activities in town, the spectators, the new property or the pro purse or anything other than just paying one rider to kind of show up when we have great talent, and we see that talent just, exponentially. You see like we talked about Tristan, and you got Ron Como. I haven't ever seen him at an extreme race, but he did really well this past weekend. For sure. And then you got all the young kids like Jackson Davis and all of those guys coming up. So pretty cool to see it just kind of growing in general.
So,
I heard, I don't know, you might have insight. The top pro rider coming, is Chuck coming out?
Chuck DeLulu, I'm pretty sure he'll be there.
All right. That's all we need right there.
He is pretty much the top East Coast guy, I guess, now.
Yeah.
But I was going to get to that. This is an East-West shootout. I don't know if we've made that big enough news, but this is the only race we have all the East guys and all the West guys meeting up. So this is a Supercross style shootout. Man, the West has just got all the guns right now. What is the East going to have to do to freaking match those guys?
Well, I heard Chuck, Will, Drew. Yeah. No, I think it's going to be, yeah. And I know Cody, he said he was going to hit as many of the East Coast as he could. And I think same thing for Max. He was hitting those. So I think we're going to see a lot of those guys crossing over. Because, the good thing about AMA was we made sure that we weren't on either, East Coast or West Coast. They weren't on each other's dates. So that was good. Really excited to see, definitely on the amateur ranks, how the East and West stack up against each other, so that's going to be pretty awesome because this, like you said, this is the East versus West shootout, and this is going to be the first round of the East Coast. So we'll see if everybody did their homework all winter.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so anybody that's not signed up, where do they go to get signed up?
So yeah, just go to the RevLimiter Extreme Enduro, or go ahead and type in Live Laps, go to find my event, look under Moto Colors. It'll be there. What we've done just to, we had the early bird special for $85, and it's bumped up to $100. On the 15th, it'll go to $115, and it'll keep going up every month until the race, just to kind of get people, because when they wait till the last minute, that's just more work on our end to kind of get everybody assigned, get numbers printed. And it's going to be pretty much just like every year. It's going to be pretty simple. We're going to have everything. We are using Live Laps this year. However, we might not be using the pucks. We might be just using the RFIDs. We'll make an announcement about that. The prologue's kind of throwing a kink in our game, because that's down to the wire. Typically, with the RevLimiter on all the other races, you don't have them battling coming through the score and shoot. But with the short course like that and that prologue, it's going to be fast paced. So we wanted everything to be really accurate. So we're thinking we're going to have to switch to the RFID just for that race. So we might as well do it for the whole race.
Gotcha.
But we're still going to have live results. We'll still have all of that kind of stuff. We'll have, we'll be out there kind of making sure that all of those things are in place. Registration should go pretty smooth. We're working on a few things, so we'll make a few announcements. We're trying to work on a riders meeting for Friday evening, more of a sit-down press conference kind of style, because we all know as racers, when there's a riders meeting, we're over here talking to our pit crew or trying to figure something out, and oh, my bike's not idling. Oh wait, I didn't hear that part of the riders meeting. So yeah. What we're shooting for is a Friday evening riders meeting kind of thing, press conference style, so we can ask questions. We have time to think through things. It would be downtown if we do it, which is right there by all the restaurants, right there by the prologue. So then you can kind of walk around, check out the prologue.
Could it be in a heated area?
In a heated area?
Well, yeah.
Yeah, we're actually looking for indoors. We're trying to keep it all nice and warm. I mean, we already moved it 4 weeks for y'all.
I know. Well, Texas, you expect to be warm. And these last 3 years, they've come down there, frozen to death. So,
you know what? If we're frozen at the end of March, somebody's doing something wrong.
I don't know, man. The weather's been so crazy lately. I can't count on anything.
Yeah, but we're pretty excited about it. Like I said, working with the city obviously always takes a lot more work. It's not like, hey, we just get to go cut some trails and hey, we have the property and we don't have to deal with the officials or the bureaucracy of city management. So we're having to jump through a lot of hoops. So we're really hoping that everybody really likes the prologue and enjoys it. And we hope that it brings a lot of other eyes onto our sport, potentially brings on more sponsors from other areas that, potentially we haven't even touched on before. So that's kind of the goal. And that was the goal with us, partnering with Tom Zielinski with Texas 4 Fest, with the Jeep and all of that. Same thing with Torn, and even bringing in the rally cars. We're like, okay, let's just make this one big festival, and
cool.
I think it should be good. You can actually bring in your motorhome, your dirt bike, your UTV, go ahead and pull an extra trailer with your Subaru, and go ahead and throw in your bicycle and your dogs. And we just found out today that Saturday night, out there at the arena outside of town, they're also going to have bull riding. So, I mean, it's Texas. You got everything you could want.
All right. And you in town, right?
Exactly.
Breaking up on me.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. Okay. So let's wrap this thing up. Anybody need to thank, sponsors, anything like that?
Yeah, absolutely. We wouldn't be able to do this, obviously, without my wife, Beth, making sure that she lets me do this. So definitely, she's the one that has to listen to me. Obviously, all of my buddies that help us put this race on. They have to listen to me. They have to deal with me when I get cranky about, hey, no, we shouldn't have cut that little sapling down because now that opens up a whole new line. Right. So without them, we wouldn't do any of this. And then obviously Kenda, they came on with us for the first year and they've been on with us forever. So we appreciate them coming on as title sponsors. Brian over there does a great job. Then we got Kenda. I already say Kenda, but then we got Craig over at SRT. Craig's been with us from the get-go as well. He does a great job. Their new uniforms for their team look sharp today. I saw that post. And then we got AOMC. We got Cross Swords Racing. They're an awesome contributor to us as well. And then the list just continues to go down. Max Cooler, RNC Works. We got Lambert's Lawn Care Service. We got Evans Coolant. You got to have some Evans when you're out there doing the extreme stuff. And like I said, we got, so many people. And you asked me, and I was like, really? Then my computer went ahead and locked up. And I was like, we had all of our sponsors listed. But, part of it also is, the AMA, they definitely kind of helped us out getting everything started. Definitely, Sherco came on board with us last year for us, but, also Sherco's come on board for the East and the West series this year. So that was huge for everybody, I think. Rev Designs, they always do all the great trophies and all of our stuff for us and do a great job. Ready to Ride Rentals, they're always involved with us. Bo over there, he gets bikes lined up for all the extreme races. So super cool. Brian Pierce.
Come to the East, not just the West.
Right. Well, I'm sure y'all can work out a deal with him.
Yeah.
He's coming to TKO for sure.
Saw that.
Brian Pierce over at Seat Time does an awesome job.
Never heard
never heard of that guy. I don't know who he is. We got Two Ride Yoram out there. He does a great job. Enduro Method is one of our new sponsors that came on this year. They do some training, so that's super awesome. Check them out. We also have obviously Live Laps, Built to Ride. He's out of Canada. They're awesome. The list goes on and on. Red Bull, all those kind of guys that really step up. Shock Socks, Long Henry Industries, FMF. Yeah, you see me looking over there at all the lists, right? The list goes on. We couldn't do it without all of them, and we're just appreciative that they come on and trust us to do a good job for them and go build a track for them.
For sure. Well, if there is an X that doesn't have a sponsor on it, we need to get an American Hard Enduro, whatever it might be.
We need to get something working on that.
Yeah, for sure.
We can do that.
All right. Well, I guess we're going to wrap it up. Happy birthday.
Thank you, sir.
You had a big one today. So, made it another year. It's awesome.
We did it. We did it. Looking forward to seeing everybody out in Texas for the East versus West AMA Sherco shootout. So we'll be here.
Yeah.
And we'll turn on the heat this time.
All right, man. I will talk to you later, and we'll see you in Texas.
All right. Thanks, man.
Cool.